Hey guys, it's Shamsa and welcome back to my channel. Today's recipe is all about comfort food. With the days getting darker, I'm going to share with you how to make one of my personal favourites, which is dal. Now this dal is not any ordinary dal, it's dal with cream and lots of butter. Now if you haven't already guessed what we're making today, it's Dal Makhani, and Dal Makhani is just a luxurious dal, which is basically on the next level of dals. It's simple to make, comes together really quickly, and I'm going to show you how to make my version of this. But before I do that, if you're enjoying my content and you find it easy to follow, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and please turn your bell notifications on, because you'll be the first one to be notified when videos go live. So let's start. So the ingredients you're going to need is 300 grams of urad dal, which is also known as urad beans. Now urad beans come packed like that and they are black in colour, and first of all what you want to do is you want to sort of like look through them and take out any sort of like little stones or items that are not edible in there. And after you've done that, what you want to do is you want to really wash them thoroughly in cold water. So grab them between the palms of your hands and rub them in a bowl with water in there, and then obviously discard that water and just top it up with fresh water. And you want to soak them overnight like I've done here. And after soaking them overnight, you're going to see that the beans change colour. So they've gone like a green colour, and I've just washed and drained mine. I've got here 500 grams of fresh tomatoes, which I've just weighed up as normal and blitzed in my food processor. I've got half a cup here of red kidney beans, and I've just pre-soaked them as well. They've had 4 hours of soaking, whereas the urad beans have had an overnight 12 hours of soaking. I've got here a heaped tablespoon of freshly grated ginger and garlic, half a cup here of clarified butter, which is also known as deghi. If you don't know how to make that, I will leave a link in the description box for you guys. And I've got the following spices. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, coriander powder. I've got 1 heaped tablespoon of deghi mirch, which is the Kashmeri chilli powder, which is going to add a really nice colour to the dish, but not the heat. I've got 1 teaspoon of regular chili powder and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder here. I've got half a tablespoon of garam masala and the same of cumin seeds, which I've coarsely bashed up. And I've got here double cream, just a drizzle of it. We don't need a lot, which is going to go right at the end to garnish. And I've also got cubed salted butter as well. And here we've got 1 litre, which equates to 4 of my mugs of boiled kettle water. So let's start cooking. Right, okay, so my pressure cooker is on the heat. My hob setting is on a 9, which is the highest heat setting. And first of all, we're going to add our dal straight in like that. Then I'm going to throw in my kidney beans like that, and just top that off with the boiled kettle water like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to come up to the boil, and once it's come up to the boil, I'll pop the lid on and I'll show you what you need to do next. Right, okay, so it's just about coming up to the boil, and the reason why we didn't put the lid on to allow it to pressure cook is because you see all of this foam gathering on the top. What we're going to do is we're going to actually take a spoon or a ladle, and we're just going to remove all of that. These are just the impurities from the dal, and we're just going to take that off and just remove as much as you can, because that'll just clean up the dal. And now you can see it's come up to the boil. What we're going to do is we're going to pop our lid on, secure it by locking it, and then we're going to turn this dial down to 2, which is the pressure cook mode. And as soon as that little lever here, that little button comes up, and that will indicate our pressure inside has risen and the food is starting to cook in there. The dal's actually cooking on pressure cook mode. Right, okay, coming back to this, the little button here has just come up, and that indicates that the pressure inside has risen and it's on pressure cook mode now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my hob down to 4, which is a low heat setting for my hob, and I'm going to allow this to cook away now for about 30 to 45 minutes. Right, okay guys, my dal has been cooking away on pressure cooker mode for 30 minutes, and this is how it looks. So you can see it is really nicely cooked, fully cooked. So you can squeeze the beans between your fingers and they will just turn to mush, and they are nice and soft. All we're going to do now is we're just going to transfer this to a bowl with the water as well. We're not going to get rid of that, we're going to use that, and we're going to rinse the pressure cooker out because we're going to be using it, and I'll show you what you guys need to do next. Right, okay, so my cooked dal I've popped into a bowl and I'm just going to set this aside. I've also rinsed out my pressure cooker, and my heat setting is currently on a 6, which is a medium heat setting. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my clarified butter, which is also known as deghi, and just let that come up to temperature a little. Just give it a minute or so. Right, the butter is nice and hot, and then straight in with our ginger and garlic, and we're just going to fry this until it's just sort of like gets rid of the rawness, so for about a minute or two. Right, so the key here is not to burn the ginger and garlic. We just want to get rid of the rawness. And then I'm going to go in with all our spices. Just give that a mix. Like that. And then straight in with the tomatoes. Right, so we're going to cook the tomatoes now for about 6 to 8 minutes on a heat setting of 6. And the reason why we're going to cook out the tomatoes is because we want to get rid of the sharpness from them, and also we want for them to sort of like be bunned nicely as well. So we are essentially doing a cook and a bun together. And once the oil starts to separate and sort of like come to the surface, you know that this the tomato masala will be ready for the dal. So I'll see you guys back in around 8 minutes time. Right, okay, so coming back to the masala, it's been cooking away now for about 8 minutes. I've been punning it now, and you can see that it's reduced down really nicely. The water, sort of like the moisture from the tomatoes, have cooked down really well, and it also has changed in colour as well. It's gone like this really intense red colour, and now we can add our dal straight in, just like that. Smells absolutely delicious. Oh, just make sure you mix all of that masala really well into this. And I'm going to turn my hob setting onto a 9, which is the highest heat setting for my hob, and I'm going to allow this to come up to the boil. And then whilst it comes up to the boil, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to continuously just keep stirring, and with the help of the spoon I'm going to sort of like push the dal against the pressure cooker wall, and I'm just going to sort of like break it up. And the more you do that, the more creamy the dal's going to become, and that's how it should be. Right, okay guys, so now that that's come up to the boil, all we're going to do now is just pop the lid on, lock the lid, and I've reduced my heat setting down to a 2, which is a low heat setting for my hob, and we're just going to let the dal cook away now for around 8 to 10 minutes. Now, the reason why we're going to do that is even though the dal's cooked, we want the flavour to develop. So with the masala that we've added in there with the tomatoes and garlic and ginger and spices, we want that to develop further, and that 10 minutes is going to create that magic in there. So leave that to do what it needs to do. You don't need to do anything to it, and I'll see you guys back in 10 minutes time when we'll be ready to finish the dish off. Right, okay, so it's been 10 minutes now that the dal has been cooking away, and just remove the lid to show you, and you can see that the butter is now coming up to the surface, and we're just going to give it a stir. It's nice and thick, and that's how you want it. Oh, just look at that. And now we are ready to finish the dish off. So before I add the rest of the remaining spices in, I'm going to go in with some more butter. I've cubed it up into small pieces. Now this is optional, you don't have to add this in, but you're having Dal Makhani and it's all about makhan. Makhan is butter, and yeah, you just can't have Dal Makhani without having the butter. But again, it's optional. If you guys want to add it in, add it in. If you don't want to, then just leave it out and just make sure you mix well. Perfect. And now I'm going to throw in my garam masala like that and just spill it everywhere as well. Oh Shamsa, what you're doing. And also the cumin seeds, which I sort of like coarsely bashed up into that. Give that a mix. Can't wait to serve this up because this smells absolutely delish. Perfect. Look at that. And that is the consistency that you are looking for. It's thick, but it's also running at the same time. Okay, turn my hob off. And the last thing to add in is obviously your cream. So straight over, just look at that. And there we have it, guys. My dal makhani is all ready. Let me plate it up and show you guys exactly how it is. And there we have it, guys. My dal makhani is all ready and plated up. And I'm going to tuck into this now and tell you guys exactly how it is. I honestly can't tell you. I have literally been salivating whilst it's been cooking away. Ooh. But yeah, I can't wait. Look at that, creamy with, oh, lots of cream on top. Absolutely gorgeous. There is so much flavour in this. Oh, you can taste every single flavour in the dal, from the ginger garlic to the butter to the dal to the tomatoes to the spices. It's got so much flavour in there, and it's just, oh, I can't even explain to you guys. It's just delicious. Such a simple recipe, but honestly, absolutely wonderful. Guys, please try the recipe out. You know, it's dishes like these, which you think that, you know, are hard to make, but they're not once you know how to make them. And the best thing is make a batch this big and freeze it. Forget about it. Take it out on a day when you really can't be bothered cooking. And that's the best thing about batch cooking, to be honest. Right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Now, if you have, please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your bell notifications on. And also share this recipe with your family and friends. Make it for your family and friends and enjoy it with them. I mean, food like this is for family and friends, really, isn't it? Leaving you with this one. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this. Till next time, take care and happy eating.